Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking here in my bedroom in the great state of Kansas. And of course, we just had the Oscars last Sunday, and so it's time to kind of talk about what happened there. I did watch the whole ceremony, all 3 hour plus of it, 3.5 hours of it. And yeah, and took notes and stuff on who won and all that. So I thought it's time to kind of recap what I thought about the Oscars this time around, 2026 version, 98th Oscars. So first, talking about the ceremony itself. Of course, Conan O'Brien's one of my favorite. He's my favorite late night talk show host. He's one of my favorite all-time funny people. So excited that he got to host the second year in a row. I think on paper should be one of the greatest hosts of all time. I'll be honest, I didn't think he was that funny this time around. And I thought last year he was decent. I thought he was an okay, but not as funny as he has been. Like, I think when he hosted the Emmys, he was funnier. I don't know what it is, but like at that time, he was just peak Conan or something. And I wish we could have gotten him back then doing the Oscars instead of having to wait so long to finally get Conan. When he's not as big of a name, it seems like, as he was when he was hosting, Late Night and Tonight Show and all this stuff. And now he just does a podcast and like a travel show on HBO. He's still a very funny person. I expected more out of him, maybe, and that's my disappointment with him in the Oscars, is that I know how funny he can be because I watched him for decades on late night talk shows and love him. And given this opportunity, I think he should have knocked it out of the park, and I feel like he didn't do particularly as good of a job as I think he could have, and I don't know why that is. And it was he just didn't have good writers with him this time around. He's obviously funny, but he needs maybe better writers or something like that. And they came up with ideas that just didn't work, and he thought would work. Opening it with a weapons kind of joke where he got makeup to look like Aunt Gladys from Weapons, the Amy Madigan character. To me, is not that funny of an idea. And then have the children chasing him like in the movie, which if you haven't seen Weapons, I can imagine you're confused by the whole scene. Of course, luckily I saw the movie, or I'd be confused too, but I saw the movie so I can go, okay, I totally get this reference. My parents would have no idea what was going on, and I wouldn't want to have to explain to them what's going on. So then they have him kind of, gave him an excuse to run through different scenes of different movies, but nothing particularly that funny in any of the scenes. Like he plays ping pong with Timothy Chalamet and for Marty Supreme. He talks to Stellan Skarsgård in Norwegian, but wasn't that funny really. I can't believe, I know he showed up in F1, in Sinners. He does like his old Danny boy, his old like joke that he always like, hey, I can sing too, and then he does some old Irish song. It's been done to death. It's not as funny as it used to be. Even shows up in K-pop Demon Hunters, and I don't know. It just wasn't that funny bit. I thought it was funnier last year when he was doing that Substance bit, when he came out of Demi Moore, like in Substance or something like that. I can't remember all of it, but I remember that part was kind of funny last year. And overall jokes, again, weren't that funny. He did get a little political, which I hate. I wish they wouldn't get political. He did take some stabs at Trump, as they always do, which to me weren't funny. And like, he took a lot of shots at Timothée Chalamet, which I think it's funny. I feel like he took shots at Timothée Chalamet last year. Timothée Chalamet seems like he's always kind of in the front because he's always nominated, I guess, for Best Actor. And I don't know, he's kind of easy person to make fun of because he's young and he's so talented that you want to take him down a notch. So I feel like there's a bunch of jokes about Timothée Chalamet. So yeah, I'm trying to think of any real funny bit. They're just like okay laughs here and there, but I don't know. I feel like he should have just been. I should have been dying laughing at this thing, and I wasn't. And I think like it's just not up there with some of the best. Like the Billy Crystal ones were just so funny when he hosted, and the two Steve Martin hosted were absolutely hilarious. Like I just died laughing. I remember. And Jon Stewart, I thought, was absolutely hilarious. His part when he did it, even the one where Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin did together, I thought was absolutely hilarious. Like I can go down the line. Ellen DeGeneres did a pretty good job on her too that she did. Hugh Jackman did a great job when he hosted. The guy from Family Guy, I forget his name, did a great job, I thought, when he hosted. Like, I can think of all these people that were so funny when they hosted that were much better than what Conan Bryan did here. I even think of, like, I was watching Nikki Glazer when she did her Golden Globes host, and she was very funny. Like, I laughed way more at Nikki Glazer. You think of Ricky Gervais back when he hosted the Golden Globes, absolutely hilarious. Some of the greatest stuff ever from him. Or when Tina Fey and Amy Poehler hosted, I think of all these great hosts, and Conan Bryan's way down the list, I think, of being a funny host, which is very unfortunate because I know he's so good. He's so funny. I mean, he's better than Whoopi Goldberg. He's better than Jimmy Kimmel, who I don't think is funny at all. He's better than James Franco and Anne Hathaway when they hosted. So there's a couple of people that he's better than in my lifetime that I've watched the Oscars. But he's not as funny as a lot of the really good ones. So maybe it's just the state of today's comedy is just not very good or what. But I don't know. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe you think he was hilarious. I don't know. I think the funniest part I did laugh at was when he pretended to win an Oscar and he went out in the audience and he got up and he acted like, this is what I would do if I won an Oscar. And when he won, he stood up and some people put a cape around him, put a crown on him. They were throwing rose petals, and Josh Groban came out in a Roman outfit singing opera kind of thing. And then he got on top of like a fake mountain thing, and an eagle came and handed him the Oscar. That was funny. That's Conan at his funniest. Like that's definitely what Conan does. That's the kind of humor that Conan does really well. That worked. But anyway, besides that, I can't remember a lot of funny stuff from the monologue. Anyway, sorry, I take a lot of time because monologue is my favorite part of the Oscars, so I always take a long time. I'm very critical of it. I'm very skeptical, or very analyzing of the Oscar monologue. I think it's what really makes the Oscars. A really great, funny monologue, roasting everybody in the room. That's what it's for. Getting the ceremony itself, again, it did get political here and there. I skipped most of the speeches unless it's a best actor, best actress, or whatever. But most of the smaller ones, like who I didn't know who they were, I kind of skipped a lot of the speeches. I heard afterwards some of them, definitely were very liberal, but it wasn't too terrible except for Harvey Bardem. I think was the worst one when he wore this huge, pin and he said "No war, free Palestine." I'm like, oh god. Not the stupid politics again. Like, let's keep the politics out of this. So that was the worst part, I think, the whole thing. Anyways, but I did think there was two really funny bits in the show. One was the bridesmaids reunion, their whole bit on stage where they had fake notes from the audience. I thought that was really hilarious. Definitely the funniest bit. I've watched that probably 5 times already on YouTube. I think it's so funny. Because when they call out Stellan Skarsgård, who doesn't know he's gonna be called out, and he has to play along. Like, he played along really well, Leo played along really well, and Benicio del Toro played along. And I don't think they knew that they were gonna be picked on. And that's the best part. When you pick on an audience member and they play along with the bit, it's great. It's funny. One part, Conan said, "Let's make another meme," and then they with Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's so good at memes, and they put the camera on Leo, and Leo didn't know what to do. It's kind of funny. Leo had no idea he was going to be picked on, and he didn't know where the camera was at first. He kind of looked straight ahead, and then he kind of went, and he finally found the camera, and he went, like he didn't know what to do, and it was kind of funny in a sense that it's like, it didn't work out perfectly, because Leo tried to play along, but he struggled at first. But anyways, those are kind of funny when they do. I love when they do stuff with the audience. It's some of the funniest stuff. The other is Kumail Nanjiani. I thought was hilarious when he came up and he did a whole bit about making a film shorter, and he found ways to shorten film titles. And the funniest one was instead of one battle after another, just call it one battle. Let's just do one battle. That stuff was very funny. And then even that there was a tie and he had to go, everybody calm down, it's a tie, just stay calm. The way he treated the whole thing. I think he maybe should host next time. I think Kumail Nanjiani, I would vote for him to be hosting the Oscars. I think he'd be hilarious. Besides that, I can't remember a lot of other funny moments in the show itself, which is too bad. That's what I love about the Oscars, when you have that great pairing. And Rob Downey Jr. and Chris Evans tried to be funny. Well, they did have one funny bit with Channing Tatum, where there's a guy, there's two funny bits of Channing Tatum, but one was when uh, they're giving each other a gift because of a reunion of Avengers or something like that, and Robert Downey Jr. gave Chris Evans the thong from Channing Tatum from Magic Mike. And then Channing Tatum from the audience goes, "I need that back." That was hilarious. And then the one with Channing Tatum and Will Arnett, and Channing Tatum talking about how great or talking about, you know, actors and stuff like that. It kind of referred to Will Arnett not being a real actor, and Will Arnett's like, "I made a movie this year with with some really big time director," and he goes, "Oh yeah, that director's so good. He's good at bringing good performance from bad actors." That was a funny bit. Anyway, so I'm sorry, I'm talking just about the funny bit. So there was a couple there if I think about it hard enough, but overall, it wasn't the most political, dividing, so that's good. And like I said, it was funny here and there, but I wouldn't say it's one of the funniest Oscars either. Not as memorable as far as the bits go, but anyway, saying that, it was just okay as far as that's concerned. As far as speeches, I guess we'll go through some of these. Amy Madigan won like the first Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, which I correctly predicted. And she went up there and she gave just this weird meandering speech that went nowhere. And I was watching it. I remember I go, she's been up there for a long time. Let's get this going. Like, let's move it along. You know, you're not saying anything that important. Like, she didn't sound that emotional. Like, usually women go up there and they're, "Oh my God, I won. I'm so emotional." Amy Madigan she kind of gave an evil laugh, which I thought maybe was like a reference to her evil character in Weapons, but I don't know. It was a weird speech to begin the whole thing. Sean Penn, who won, who I predicted correctly, was not there, which I kind of figured he wasn't because he hasn't been showing up to these award shows. I don't think he really cares about the Oscars that much, which is weird because he's won 3 now. He's one of the most decorated Oscar-winning actors of all time. And I'm glad he wasn't there because I know he's like one of the most liberal, you know, activists out there in Hollywood. And I know he hates Trump, he hates Republicans. And if he got the win, he was there, and he got the win. But if he was there, I just have a funny feeling he would just spend this whole time bashing Trump and Republicans. So I'm glad he wasn't there because I didn't want to hear his speech. But it's weird that he got it, even though it feels like everybody knew he wasn't going to be there. So it's like, why do you give it to the person that doesn't care about being there? Like, I would not give it to somebody if they don't want to show up. And I mean, sometimes they can't show up because they're busy or something like that. But it's like, I doubt it was that. Who knows? And even Kieran Culkin, who's so funny, I think. He did give a funny thing where he gave he did the best supporting actor or whatever, and he went to Sean Penn, and then he had to say, "Sean Penn couldn't be here or didn't want to be here." That must have been an ad-lib, which Kieran Culkin is so good at ad-libbing things like that on the spot. I don't know if he should have said that, but I think that was hilarious, and he was right. I'm sure Sean Penn just didn't want to be there. Anyways, but this puts him up with, I can only think of 2 other actors who have 3 Oscars. Daniel Day-Lewis has 3 Best Actor Oscars, and Jack Nicholson has 2 Best Actor Oscars and a Best Supporting Actor Oscar. And now Sean Penn has 2 Best Actor Oscars and a Best Supporting. So it puts him up there with 3 of the most decorated actors of all time. Absolutely incredible, for Sean Penn, who I feel like isn't that prolific of an actor. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see him that often in movies. It seems like he doesn't work that often. So good win for Sean Penn. I really wish Stellan Skarsgård would have won, or Delroy Lindo would have been much awesome. It would have been a better, I think, reaction out of the crowd, and could have gotten a good speech out of it. But anyways, but going for Best Actor, I am maybe the award I loved the most was Michael B. Jordan as Best Actor. I was really wanting him to win, and when he was announced, that was, out of any moment in the Oscars, that was the most, excited I was, the most, happy I was when he got announced. I was like, oh yes, Michael B. Jordan, yes, he so deserves this Oscar. I'm so happy for him. Nothing against Timothée Chalamet. He's a good actor. I think he's done some really good performances. Hopefully he'll get his someday. I think he deserves it as well. But for some reason, I just really want Michael B. Jordan. And I think it just comes down to, I love Creed so much. Creed is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think Creed should have won Best Picture. I think Michael B. Jordan should have won Best Actor for Creed. Sylvester Stallone should win Best Supporting Actor for Creed. Should win Best Director for Ryan Coogler, Best Screenplay. It should have won all of those Oscars. I think Creed is so good. Ever since I saw Creed, I've been like, I want to see Michael B. Jordan win an Oscar. And so him win, and I thought he was good in Sinners. In fact, in the Old Millennial Awards, I was the only one out of the three of us who said he had the best performance of the year. So I kind of feel vindicated that I said Michael B. Jordan had the best performance and he won the Oscar. So I'm right in line with the Academy here that he had the best performance of the year in Sinners. Anyway, so to me, it's like this. I don't know if he should have won for Sinners, but this because of his performance in Creed, he deserves an Oscar at some point just for making that movie. Anyway, so I'm so happy for him, and he's been so great during the award season. He's been so humble. He seems like a very nice guy, and he gave a great speech. I thought he had a really great, humble, gratitude speech, which is what you want to see from the winner. So I really loved all that. And then also we got Jessie Buckley, the Best Actress. Wasn't so exciting only because we knew she was going to win. She's swept all the awards, and deserving so. I think she gave a great performance in Hamnet. Definitely deserved Best Actress. So yeah, all good for her. I don't know her that well. I don't know how many movies I've seen her with. She's not one that I'm not as familiar with, to be honest, but good for her. And she gave the best speech of the night. I think she was amazing. And she was so emotional when she got announced. She was crying. She was so grateful. That's what you want to see. I want to see emotions. I want to see gratefulness when you win. I love that. So she was great. I loved her whole thing. And then her speech was really nice and positive. I love when you can, you want to think, your cast members or the director, the producers, the company, your agent, whatever. You want to thank a lot of people. You want to thank the Academy. And then you want to talk about, your family as well. You want to get all that in there. And then it's nice when you can throw in like some kind of positive message in your speech. Those are the best speeches. And I think Jessie Buckley did that. She's the only one I can think of that really did that very well in the Oscar ceremony, where she talked about motherhood and I like it when the speech is tied to the character in the movie, which it was, because she played a mother in the movie that lost a child and grieved over it. And as much about, it was a big deal about motherhood in that movie. And she spent her Oscar talking about how great motherhood is, and she has a child and how much she loves her child and all this stuff about very positive message about, how important motherhood is. And then even talked about her husband and like how great he is and how she wants 20,000 more babies with him. And he's a great guy. I love that. Talking positively about your spouse. You don't see that very often. We see more videos about saying how bad your spouse is on YouTube or TikTok, whatever. So, man, I love that. Talking how great your spouse is, how great your kid is. Great stuff. I love that about Jessie Buckley. Anyways, of course, this was definitely as we all kind of predicted long ago, this was Paul Thomas Anderson's time to shine. And he won 3 Oscars, which I kind of figured that's probably what's going to happen. Best Screenplay, Best Director, Best Picture. It's one of those things where I'm not a big Paul Thomas Anderson fan, but he was due. I'm fine with him winning because it's not like Christopher Nolan. You just feel like, yeah, he's due for an Oscar. There's always that moment when somebody is put out work that is very well reviewed by critics and sometimes by audience members, and you just go, man, when is he going to win an Oscar? And then when he does, you're like, finally, they gave him an Oscar. Even me, who's not a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, was like, yeah, it was his time, And I think they said he was nominated 14 times before he won the 3 tonight, Sunday night. So that's pretty incredible. 14 nominations. That's a lot, and then finally winning. So he definitely put his due in. He definitely has been loved by the Academy for a long time, so good for him. I would say his speech, he gave 3 of them, so I don't remember which one's which. I mean, he did say, the only thing that bothers me is I hate when people are like, I'm sorry for the next generation because our generation's leaving. The next generation was such a mess. And I go, please, give me a break, every generation has bad things happen in their generation. It has problems. And this generation didn't leave anything worse for the next generation than the other generation left for my generation. every generation has problems, you know, and I hate this old trying to act like, oh, my generation had it the worst, and I'm sorry for the next generation because we had the worst generation. You know, we had the worst stuff happen to us. You know, it's like, come on. And I know it's only because he's saying that because Trump is president, and you know they hate Trump, they hate Republicans. So I know the whole thing is just a bash at us. You know, like oh, look how bad the world is because of Republicans. You know, that's I think what he's saying. And to me, of course, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I think the world is bad, but for different reasons, because of other things that are happening in this world that I think is evil. I won't get into right now, but there's evil things happening in this world that weren't happening in the past, and it's definitely, I think, ruining our country. So we have different reasons why our country's being ruined, and so that's what bothers me. Going, oh God, it's not for the reasons you think it is, Paul Thomas Anderson. It's not because of Donald Trump's policies or whatever you want to say it is. I think it's for sinfulness. The sinfulness of the world is getting worse and worse, and that's the problems of the world, I suppose. But I feel like every generation had bad stuff. I mean, you got the greatest generation had, you know, the Great Depression and World War II to deal with. You know, the baby boomers had Vietnam to deal with. You know, and all that. You know, so it's, yeah, we all have problems. Like, don't put it on one generation. We have it fine. I always think, like, gosh, I mean, I don't make a lot of money, but I own a house, I own a car, I have plenty of food in the fridge. I have a root beer here I'm drinking. I can get it any time. I work hard at my job just to get by, but I get by, and that's good enough for me in America. Other countries, they die because they say the wrong thing. You know, there's no free speech in like almost every other country besides the United States. So I'd rather be in this country where I got freedom of speech and I can drink root beer like this all the time. You know, we're fine. We're not perfect, but we're fine. Come on. Anyway, sorry, that's my little spat on that. That will get some hate. Yeah. If anybody comments me, fine. If you say something nasty, I'm blocking you. And people have said nasty things on my channel, and I block them. So don't say nasty things, or don't get at me personally. I'm just gonna block you. I don't even talk to people like you. All right. So overall, I predicted 18 out of 21. 21, I'd say, because I don't count the shorts. I don't ever try to predict the shorts because who cares about the shorts and who knows anything about the shorts? None of us watch the shorts. So out of the 21 major categories, I guessed 18 correctly. So I feel like pretty good. I feel like I did a pretty good job predicting this one. I only missed in 3 categories, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. But I got all the major categories, including Best Picture and all the acting categories, all the screenplay categories. So I feel pretty good. I got all the major categories correctly, which I always, you know, try to do. So if I compete in some kind of contest, I might have done fairly good. But let's go through them a little bit here. Best costume with the Frankenstein. Yeah, definitely deserved it. No surprise there. Best cinematography is one I missed. It went to Sinners, and I picked one back after another. And this is the thing. My gut said Sinners. I originally wanted to go for Sinners, but I watched this one YouTube channel that these 2 brothers that predict really know their stuff and are really good at predicting the Oscars. And they said that One After Another has won all the precursors and is the front runner and statistically should win this category. So I changed from Sinners to One After Another because it's one channel, and I missed the category because of them. So it's like, if I would have went with my original gut feeling, Sinners, I would have got that one right. So I hate that. So I guess I've learned, don't always go for what other people are saying. Go with your gut at some points. Best visual effects, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Third time Avatar has won Best Visual Effects. I mean, they own this category, obviously. If there's another Avatar, they might win again. I know that James Cameron's coming up with all these Avatars. Don't care about them, but the visual effects are always great. Best Sound, F1. I predicted that one. Everybody kind of thought that was going to win. No surprise there. Best Film Editing with One After Another. Again, no surprise. I figure if that's going to win Best Picture, usually Best Picture, Best Editing go hand to hand. So that worked out there. Best Production, Frankenstein. Definitely deserved that one. Best Animation, K-Pop Demon Hunters. Exactly what we thought it was going to be. Best International Film. Did go Cinema Value, so I was glad I got that one right, because some people thought it might go to Secret Agent, the other Best Picture nominee. And I was kind of 50-50 on it. I was like, could go to either two of those, but I'm getting Sentimental Value just because it has more acting nominations in it. And I'm glad I got that one right. Best Documentary, another one I missed. And that was the hardest one to predict just because I know nothing about the documentaries. I used to watch the documentaries every Oscar season, but now they usually are really bad. The best documentaries never get nominated anymore, so it's kind of a bad category right now. And I knew nothing about these. Haven't seen any of them, haven't heard anything about, have no idea what any of them are about. I just went by what I heard other people say, and I heard, again, the two brothers, the awards channel, they said My Perfect Neighbor, whatever, The Perfect Neighbor was going to win. So I said, okay, I'll predict The Perfect Neighbor. I did hear some people say Mr. Nobody Against Putin would win, but I went with these two individuals, and they got it wrong, and so I got it wrong. It did go to Mr. Nobody Against Putin, so it's like, I just knew that was a hard one for me to even, I don't know if there was a front runner. It was just like, I don't know how many people got that right or wrong or knew anything about it. Best Song, Golden, K-Pop Demon Hunters. I will say, one of the best things about the Oscar ceremony is the two musical numbers were absolutely fantastic. They did such a great job with the production, with the choreography, with the camera work. They put a lot into that, and I really appreciate that. That made the Oscars so much better, I think, when you have a great musical number. It's funny because there's 5 songs nominated for Best Song. Only 2 of them got performances. Usually you have all of them have performances. So that was a little like, okay, so you're giving the 2 front runners performances. So it's pretty obvious that Golden and then the one from Sinners was the 2 front runners because they both got a performance and nobody else did. So like when you get to go, oh, okay, I think I know who's going to win. It's one of those 2. And I did get that right as Golden. Everybody knew it was going to be Golden. I didn't think it was particularly that great a song, but I thought it was a great performance. I have to say, I kind of turned me a little bit when I watched it because the whole production was great. The 3 girls singing, belting it out. It's like, it's not that bad. I guess I can get on this whole Golden thing. But the Sinners one was, I think, better. It was one of the best productions I've ever seen on an Oscar show, where they basically they do the same scene from the movie. He does the song where he's singing it, and then you have all these people from different, past and present, doing dances or musical instruments. And the camera work was going in and out, weaving in and out of the thing. I was like, wow, they must have really rehearsed that well. It looked amazing, and it sounded great. I thought that should have won. After I didn't really think much of that song until I saw the performance, and I was like, if I was voting, I would vote for that song. That song was amazing. And I love the electric guitar players going in there, and then the banjo player and the DJ, and it was great. I loved it. And even you had the 3 white vampire actors show up, but they're in tuxes because they're just in the audience. That's kind of funny. They showed up trying to get in, and then they wouldn't let them in. It was just all really great. One of the best I've ever seen. So keep doing that, Oscars. Keep doing performances like that. I love it. Best Casting, that was the 3rd one I missed, which is maybe the biggest shock because everybody said Sinners was going to win. That's why I went with Sinners, because I don't know anybody that didn't go for Sinners. Everybody was predicting Sinners in the casting category for some reason. So I was like, okay, it must be Sinners. Everybody's going for it. Nope, goes to one after another, the Best Picture winner. So maybe we can say if you're predicting Best Picture, maybe casting goes along with that. We'll see in the future. It's so hard because it's the first casting Oscar. Right now I probably just pick whoever I think is going to win Best Picture. I'll probably pick for Best Casting because it makes sense. It'd probably go well together. I mean, it's a good cast. It's probably a good movie. If the Academy loves the movie, they probably love the cast. That makes total sense there. I don't know why everybody said Sinners and why I went with Sinners. I just kind of went with what everybody was saying. So I think everybody got that one wrong. So that's one I don't feel bad about. Because I go, yeah, nobody was predicting one after another, it feels like. Anyways, but Best Original Screenplay, Sinners. Ryan Coogler, good for him. Got an Oscar, definitely deserves it. Best Adapted Screenplay, like I said, went one after another. We all thought that. Best Original Score went to Sinners. Ludwig Göransson, 3rd Oscar. I mean, this guy he's just racking up the Oscars like no other. He's like the next John Williams here. And I don't know if I even know him that well, but he's won 3 of them, so good for him. Best Makeup Hairstyling, Frankenstein again. Definitely maybe the best category for that. 3 for Frankenstein, so good for Frankenstein. Of course, Best Director, like I said, and all the other ones. Okay, so I already talked about the other ones, but yeah, so that was the Oscars. Yeah, it was fine. Not one of the most memorable ones. And again, I don't care for Best Picture, so I wasn't really that excited about anything except for Michael B. Jordan was the only one I was real excited about and pulling for. So, so overall, not a great Oscar caliber movies for me. Then hated most of the movies nominated here. So not a particularly great one, not a great ceremony, not a great monologue. Not a lot to take from this, but another Oscar season gone. Hope for a better one next year anyways. So that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching this. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate all of you.